All right, we are live. Checking platforms.
Awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear us or you can see us on LinkedIn or Facebook, drop a comment if you're tuning in, please.
Mhm.
Drop a comment if you are tuning in, please, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I see us. Lovely. I'm going to turn this down for the feedback. If you guys are on LinkedIn and you're tuning in, drop a comment for us, please. It's a StreamYard thing. We don't know if you're on a lot of times if you don't drop a comment.
Absolutely. Welcome, LinkedIn. Welcome, Facebook. Welcome to this evening's live stream. Definitely welcome.
I see a lot of y'all was actually excited. Literally got like almost 100 responses. So if you're tuning
Okay.
in on LinkedIn,
Hey, Valencia, how you doing?
oh, there she is.
Looking
How you
forward to
doing?
Charlotte. Looking forward to Charlotte next month. Let's get
Welcome,
it.
Valencia. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Awesome stuff. Well, guys, we're gonna hop in into this juicy conversation because Stan is so very interesting that we literally met on
Yeah.
LinkedIn, like literally.
Mhm.
That's right.
Hello,
Absolutely.
welcome, Carla Ann. Welcome to the live
Welcome,
stream. All
welcome.
right, I see y'all hopping on. I see y'all hopping on. Y'all on here. Y'all ready? Y'all fired up? Y'all are on here. Y'all in the building tonight. Well, hey, y'all, welcome to the live stream with the rise of the 1%. And with nobody other than Stan Matthews as well. So, Gerald, just tell everybody a little bit about what we're trying to accomplish here on these streams. Because a lot of times we have like new followers and things of that nature in our group. We have new followers as well when it comes to LinkedIn and stuff like that. So, just share a little bit about what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, so for one, definitely great Tuesday to everyone chiming in. I see LinkedIn is on fire. Definitely welcome to you all on LinkedIn. Also, if you're tuned in the 1% CEOs Facebook group as well, definitely welcome to this evening's live stream. Yes, I am Gerald Bass. Some call me G Bass, the founder of the Rise of the 1%. Of course, alongside myself, Charliette Cummings, marketing automation consultant with the Rise of the 1%. And pretty much in terms of what we're looking to accomplish here is we're looking to impact Black entrepreneurs. So, we've been spending the last 7 years working with a lot of Black entrepreneurs that have coaching businesses, consulting businesses, online courses, those that have service-based businesses, primarily with helping them put those systems in place to consistently and predictably grow their businesses, grow their revenue, grow their profit, and grow their impact, especially using the internet. So, instead of just relying on word of mouth referrals, and sometimes we just post it on social media using some of the older school strategies, just using more of the 2024 strategies to consistently grow their book of businesses and also grow their impact. And our mission literally over the next 3 years or less, and this is our real crystal clear mission, is to create $1 billion in success stories amongst Black entrepreneurs. That's what we're looking to do in terms of the strategies, the insights, the tools, the resources that we share. That's what we're looking to do. And so on these Tuesdays, me and Charlotte, we share a lot of valuable information on Tuesdays ourselves that can help a lot of our Black entrepreneurs really grow their business. But at times, we have to spotlight those as well that are doing big things as well in terms of the Black community, Black entrepreneurship, and Black business. And so this evening, we have on a live stream alongside me and Charlotte, Mr. Stan Matthews. So let me tell you all a little bit about Mr. Stan Matthews. He actually is a proud dad of 4 wonderful children.
David.
Three of them, whom are college grads, and one is a music engineer artist. That's a little bit of my background too, coming from the music industry. Family to him is not something, it's everything. And Stan is the founder and the CEO of Matthews Business Network. And MBN is a national platform with global reach. MBN has 3,038 urban CEOs committed to taking advantage of the $4.3 trillion in purchasing power amongst urban consumers in their spend annually. MBN also enables urban entrepreneurs, professionals, creative artists, and authors the opportunity to share their unique value of their products and services. This got me here, you all, when I first was introduced to what Stan was doing. On their national professional network and on CNN, MSNBC, ESPN, MTV, and the other premier TV networks. For the last 35 years, Stan has enjoyed helping small urban professional businesses grow their top and bottom lines with his networking, marketing, sales, and management expertise. Stan earned his Bachelor of Arts Degree from Kean University in 1988 in New Jersey and his Juris Doctorate from Seton Hall Law School in 1995. Stan focused on constitutional and corporate law while he was in law school. And Stan has had the pleasure to serve on numerous nonprofit and corporate boards in his professional career. With that said, let's welcome to this Tuesday's Rise of the 1% conversation, Mr. Stan Matthews.
How y'all doing? 1%, what's going on?
Absolutely. Great to have you all.
Getting it at the 1%.
Yes. So let's do this here, Stan. Let's really start back a little bit from the beginning, though. I know I read a lot of different things in terms of what you have accomplished, but let's start a little bit back from, of course, who is Stan Matthews coming up? Let's talk a little bit about that journey in terms of you coming up to, of course, where you are now. Like, let's start from the beginning. Let's start there, Stan. So we'll let you take the floor there.
Well, I thank you so much for sharing your audience. I thank you so much for connecting the family. I thank you for shining a spotlight on our need to close this wealth gap and our need to provide our people with the prosperity that God himself promised all of us, right? So 2 John and 3 says, beloved, I pray that you prosper even as your soul prospered, right? The book of Matthew says, seek ye first the kingdom and its righteousness, and then all of these things will be added unto thee, right? All means lacking nothing. All is a pretty comprehensive word. So if God wants us to have all, and if he wants us to prosper, then there's something wrong with the software if we're not prospering. There's something wrong. It ain't God's fault. There's something wrong with the software, right? And so let me tell you what I think it is. It is a lack of love in the economic dimension. Lack of love in the economic dimension. Oh, we love other folk that look like us. We're some of the most loving people, if not the most loving people on the planet. But we don't love on each other sufficiently, Gerald and Charliette, with the green stuff. So love on the economic dimension. Now, why is that important? Because there's two things you can't win at by yourself. War, I'm sure that I'm not talking about Marvel comic books, but you ain't never seen a one-man or one-woman army whoop another army. You can't win at war alone. You need an army, right? And you can't win at economics alone. You need a team, right? Team is the acronym for together each one of us achieves more, right? The Africans have a proverb for that, which I love. If you want to go fast, go by your damn self. You want to go far, go together. Right? You can't win at economics and you can't win at war by yourself. It's a team effort that wins it. Now, that ties in nicely to who I am. So I was born in Georgetown, Guyana, and I grew up in East Orange, New Jersey. the same hometown as the late, great Whitney Houston and her awesome auntie, Dionne Warwick. For the last 21 years, I've leveraged the LinkedIn platform and my professional network to, and my partners in media, including the Oprah Winfrey Network, CNN, ESPN, MTV, and others, right, to provide my clients and people in my network with high value connections worth more than $100 million in top and bottom line revenue, right? So now let's break down that 100 million before everybody start getting crazy about it. If you take $100 million and you divide it by 25 years, right, it comes to about $4 million a year. If you take $4 million a year and you divide it by about 500 clients a year, it means that I have helped small businesses get contracts and contacts worth about $10,000 each. Not a big number, but it adds up to more than $100 million over time. Now, why is that my MO? I grew up in a very large family. My grandparents had 7 children. My mother and her 6 brothers and sisters had a bunch of children. When I was growing up, I really didn't have that many friends because I didn't need any. On Sunday afternoon, my yard would have a sea of people in it at my grandparents' house. There would just be so many people. So I learned early the fabulous nature of a big family, a big brown family, right? That was my deal. And what I saw go on in that family is who I am in business today, Gerald and Charliette. MBN, 3,041 urban entrepreneurs, is my family. We run it as a family, right? We have a 3-part vertical: faith first, family second, and fortune third, right? So when I saw how you get things in a family, you go to this auntie, or you go to this uncle, or you go to this cousin, or you go to that family member to get everything. And my family was big enough where I could see that happening. And my grandfather had Andrews Dry Cleaning and Tailoring. So everybody in Georgetown, Guyana, that had to get their clothes cleaned or had to get alterations or needed a piece of fabric to make something came to my grandparents' shop. So I saw the extended family for real, right? I would see people when I was growing up walking down the street in clothes my grandparents had made, right? So family, right? So
right.
As an entrepreneur, I built MBN with my colleagues to be a family. So MBN promises 2 things: opportunity. We have the purchasing power of about 252 million combined a year, and exclusivity. In our 54 chapters, we only allow one person to do any one thing. That way, everybody in your chapter can be your client. There's no competition, right? We prohibited competition because we take this position. We don't compete with each other. We complete each other, right? Now, what is our long-term objective? Our long-term objective is that we want to teach, inspire, and enrich the value creators in our community, also known as entrepreneurs, so that they could then make our communities great places to live, work, raise a family, and build a business. Okay. Entrepreneurs set that up by doing well, right? When an entrepreneur does well, Gerald, a little girl gets her dance shoes. When an entrepreneur does well, Charliette, a little boy gets his football uniform. When an entrepreneur does well, a father gets to drive a decent car. A mother gets to drive a decent car. When an entrepreneur does well, there's a college savings account. So when entrepreneurs do well, it makes your community a great place to live, work, and raise a family and build wealth for another generation. When an entrepreneur does not do well, we have an employment agency on the block. That employment agency will say to your son, if you come over here with us, you'll always have what you need to have. You'll be flossing, you'll be blinging. But that employment agency, Charliette, got some dangerous work.
Right. Yeah. It ain't right.
Because you might be flossing one day and you
Right.
might be at a funeral the next day.
True. True.
So that employment agency, we know what that is. We know what that is. All of us that grew up in the urban community know that other employment agency. They are always waiting for a young person whose need for money is so bad in the family that they're willing to join that employment agency. But when entrepreneurs do well in our community, that young person need not make that choice, right? And that's why it's important that urban entrepreneurs, Black, brown, yellow, and others, do well. And that's what we're trying to do in MBN. And we turned 9 on November the 4th. We turned 10 on November the 4th of 25. And we are not a perfect organization, but we're in process to carrying out our mission, which is to teach, inspire, and enrich urban entrepreneurs so they can make their communities great places to live, work, and raise a family. We do that in 2 ways: by connecting with each other and sharing business opportunities with each other. And the other way we do that is we work with our partners at Comcast Cable, Spectrum Cable, Cox Cable, and DirecTV, which is owned by AT&T. And we have very affordable plans where you can promote your business like the Fortune 500 does, right? So you can actually get 3,000 primetime television commercials with us for a very affordable price that is about 60% less than if you approach the cable companies themselves, right? The commercials air between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. None of that 4 o'clock in the morning stuff. And if you don't have your own commercial, we'll make one for you. What most people don't know is the Federal Communications Commission has a requirement that the major cable operators provide affordable access to the airwaves, because the airwaves are public property. They have to provide affordable access, right? And so we found a way 8 years ago to call them on that. I participated in the Obama for America effort. And after our forever president was elected, I went to several meetings where I found out about this affordable access. And I leveraged that to relationships with the big 4 cable providers, so we provide the service that we need. Why is that important? After COVID, Nielsen, the television ratings company, Gerald and Charliette, did a study. Because people were locked in and they had to work virtually, today, 72% of all buying decisions, 72% of all buying decisions to purchase toothpaste, toilet paper, or a car are made after watching a 30-second ad, either on social media or on TV or on this device right here, which is the most powerful device in the world, because most people consume their content now on this thing, right? So now, if you don't have a presence on an Oprah Winfrey Network, if you don't have a presence on a CNN, on an ESPN, then people who would want to buy from you don't even know who you are. Don't know who you are. And most people don't know that there is an affordable way to do it that is required by law. The airwaves do not belong to anybody, and the big providers must not may, they must provide affordable access. You just have to know how to talk to them the right way. Right.
I
So,
had no idea.
well, so the water authority in Dallas,
Yeah.
right? They regulate the fresh water that is used in your home and you take a shower and you drink, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't make that water. God did.
No.
That water don't belong to them.
Right.
True.
This air that we breathe, man didn't make that.
Yeah.
So they're the caretaker of it, but they must provide affordable access to it because it's lifeblood for all of us, right? You just have to know how to have a conversation. And so I cannot be one of those who say, Obama didn't do nothing for me. No. Participating with his effort to be president enabled us to have access to how we earn our living now. We now understand how the system works, and we can give other people access to what we know and what we do. And we'd love to do that. If anybody who's watching today would like to do what we call our Grow with O digital campaign, and O is the big O, our $3 billion sister out there in Chicago, call me at 732-357-5701. And I would love to talk to you. I look forward to collaborating with Gerald and Charliette. And we could work it out where we could do this in an affiliated, collaborative way so that anybody that would introduce themselves to us, Gerald and Charliette, we would work it out so that it's a win. Because I don't do any business that is not a triple win. My philosophy in business, if it's not a triple win, then no deal. What do I mean by triple win? If I'm negotiating with Sister Cummings, she has to win, I have to win, and God has to be pleased. If those three things are not in alignment, no deal for me. Triple win. Sister Cummings is pleased, I am pleased, God is pleased. That imposes upon us the requirement that we operate a certain way with each other, right? And when we get into broken relationships in business or in life, people often say, well, he did this to me, or she did this to me. And so whenever I get that kind of concern or complaint, I ask, what kind of gun did they hold to your head? And the person said, they didn't have no gun. Oh, so they weren't threatening your life? No. Then why did you allow them to do what they did? See, no one does anything to us, but we permit a lot of stuff. And it's because we don't look for a triple win and we don't sufficiently have high enough standards, right? No one does anything to you. It's what you allow, right? So when my grandfather would meet gentlemen who came to date one of his daughters or one of his granddaughters, he would ask the following question. Please treat her the way you would treat your own sister. If you do not, I have 5 sons who will visit with you. And whoever loves you need to get out black clothing, because if something happens to my granddaughter that would not happen to your sister, your family will be attending a funeral, right? And he never wavered from that. So a dude coming in my yard, Gerald, would leave, thinking a certain kind of way if they were dating one of my
Right.
They would know this is maybe I don't want to.
I don't want to do nothing.
I
don't want to violate
problems.
Negative.
Yeah.
So the triple win is my business philosophy. My business partner must win, I must win, and God must be pleased, because then he would honor it, right? And we would be able to go far. And we don't waver from that philosophy. The chairman of MBN, Mr. Eugene Poole, is a very high-ranking official in the Catholic Church in Washington, D.C. He is a very, very wealthy man, highly respected. And when we began MBN, we said that we could not be successful unless God was pleased. So in every one of our meetings, Charliette will tell you this because she's come, we begin and end every meeting with prayer, right? Because we believe that the one who created all of this, if he is pleased with you, then he will bless your organization with favor and with fortune. And so we're that way. We stand for the philosophy that we will love and respect you and your business, regardless of what you look like, regardless of who you love, and regardless of what you call God. Those are your private decisions to make. And we'll embrace you on that front, taking no account for what you look like, who you love, or what you call God. That's not our business. But what we will say to you is if you come to a Matthews Business Network meeting, we will honor the one that we call God. I don't care whether you call him Allah or you call him Krishna or you call him Ra or you call him Christ. That doesn't bother me. But we will honor him at the beginning and the end of every meeting. Right? You call him what you want. That's cool with me. That's your business. But we're going to honor him in our place of business. And we do that. And it is, in my mind, it has served us well. And the Creator has been there that way. In our organization, we have lawyers. I'm a trained lawyer, so I know this. We have many others. When two members of MBN have a dispute, we have a dispute resolution methodology that says the following. Both of them must come to a meeting with a small executive team, including our chairman, Eugene, and I. And the first thing that we do in the dispute meeting, long before we talk about what's at dispute, is we have them pray for each other. We have them pray for each other. We have them say, I desire that Brother Gerald be successful in everything he thinks, everything he speaks, and everything he does. I desire that Sister Cummings be blessed in everything she thinks, everything she does, and everything she speaks. Now, these are people in a dispute. Now they're praying for each other. And guess what happens after they do that? They say, well, I've been thinking about it, and maybe we could work this out. We have not had one dispute situation that resulted in an actual lawsuit, because we have found that even when people have differences, there's ways to get through and beyond that. If you just allow your spiritual force to get involved with it, then you begin to see with a different set of eyes, it ain't even worth it. It ain't even worth it. What we fighting about? Pennies? No. We're going to work together. So that's our methodology. It is all rests on a spiritual foundation. And, for me, what I want to see is us take this 25 or 27% of the U.S. GDP that God blesses us with every year. The United States of America has an economy every year, a GDP of $19 trillion. If we're 4.3 trillion of that we're about 27% of the U.S. economy. If you took us and you put us in the United Nations, there are only 3 countries in the world with a bigger GDP than us. That is the United States, that is China, and that is Japan. We as a community have more money than France, more money than England, more money than Italy. Think about this. Black and brown people in the United States of America, if you took our wallet and you threw it in the United Nations, we'd be the 4th wealthiest people in the world. Our problem is not that God hasn't blessed us with money. Our problem is that we only spend 2% of it with each other. We don't circulate.
2%?
2%.
Lord.
Money, Sister Cummings, goes in one direction in urban communities, out. Out. Ask yourself this question. Why do Koreans set up hair and beauty supply stores in a poor community? If you're so poor, why would they be there?
They know it's going to be profitable.
They know you're not poor.
Yeah.
You're not poor. You got $4.3 trillion to spend. You got the fourth biggest wallet and pocketbook in the world. You're not poor.
Right.
Why is there 2 Chinese stores on every block in urban America? I don't have any problem with our Asian brothers and sisters. They know you're not poor. Right?
They hip to it.
They know you're not poor. They come straight to the communities. Why is every 7-Eleven you going in? Brothers and sisters from Pakistan and Southeast Asia. Why are they there? If you were so poor, their business will go out of business. You are not poor. You are the 4th wealthiest community in the world. You just don't spend your money on yourself. Now, I'm into facts.
Right.
Now, let's bring God to the witness stand. Let's say we were having a trial today. And let's say the case at hand is, God, why you make us so poor? Why are our community so poor? And God would come to the witness stand and God would say, Sister Cummings, do you really want me to answer the question you just asked? Yes, God, why you made us so poor? Sister Cummings, only 3 nations in the world have more money than you. On a national basis in the US, we have 4.3 trillion to spend every year. On a global basis, we have 10.2 trillion to spend as a people on the globe every year. 10.2 trillion globally, 4.3 nationally. Now, God would say, is it that I made you poor, or is it that you do foolishness with what I gave you? That's what God would say. Is it that I made you poor, or is it that you're not behaving intelligent ways with your purchasing power? You're spending it on everybody else. Let me take it another direction. Charliette, let's say you were married to someone, you love this man, you know, you just hear this man's name and you just go, oh. Now you're married to this man, he comes home at the end of the week. And hey, love of my life, how are you? You say, fine. Today was payday, love of my life. And you say, okay. He said, I made $2,000 this week, Charliette. And on my way home, I spent 1,900 of it on everybody else, and I got 100 left over, and I want you to put it in the bank. I want you to get me some good food. I want you to save for retirement. I want you to get some for the kids. You would say, man, you have lost your mind coming home telling me some foolishness like that. Well, guess what? That is what our community does every week. We make 1,000 and we spend 98% of it on everybody else, and we have 2% of it left for us. It is unsustainable. Now, how does that manifest itself in our communities? We can't send our kids to college without Pell Grant. We can't get a decent apartment without Housing Authority voucher. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I got that rent voucher. You get non-conforming loans for the cars you drive. So you're paying 28.5% for that piece of something you're driving. Right? You got credit cards with 28% on it because you can't afford a low interest credit card. That is the manifestation from it, which makes you even poorer and catches you in the debt trap.
True.
But guess what? God blessed us with 4.3 trillion. Maybe if we circulated that among ourselves, we could start to be the primary employer of our own people. We could start to open banks that are fully funded so they can give us lower interest credit cards, cars, mortgages. We can put up hospitals in our own communities with staffs that will take care of us. Why is it that Black women and brown women have such a high maternal mortality rate? Sister can't go to the hospital, they might kill her giving birth. Check out the statistics. Black and brown women die in childbirth 7 times more than white women. So I can't even go and deliver this baby. Somebody might kill me. Maybe.
So therefore, we won't seek care. If that's the case, we won't seek care. Yeah.
Let me interject real quick though. Let me interject real quick. This is Stan Matthews. So, question to you:
Sure.
why do you believe
Right.
us as African Americans go out? Before we go into talking about the women with the mortality in terms of babies, I want to just rewind it a little bit. Why do you believe us as African Americans, we spend so much outside of our community? Like you say, you know, the Chinese, the Pakistanis, things of that nature coming into our neighborhoods in terms of African American communities. Why do you believe we go and spend so much money with them versus our own?
Right.
Or
So,
you know?
so the first reason is awareness. Awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're publishing in MBN a top 100 directory as a resource for all 54 of our chapters right now, so that you have a resource where you can open up and flip those pages and find the things you need from people who look like you and love your community, right? So number one is awareness. 9 years ago when we started, we did focus group studies with lawyers, doctors, CPAs, and business people in 25 cities and asked the same question you just asked. The question that came out by far on top is, I don't know who they are and where they are. Awareness was number one. Our consumers in our community with that $4 trillion to spend need to know who we are. You know why? None of us have an advertising budget. Remember I said 72% of all buying decisions happen when you're looking at TV or you seeing commercials on this thing. If you're not there, how are they going to know? Right? So awareness is number one.
Okay.
That was about 81% of the response. The other 19% were broken down into the following answers in this focus group. Number one, inconsistent hours. Brother, if you say that the barbershop opens at 10 o'clock, how come you showed up with a sandwich in your mouth, apologizing, and it's now 12:15? I've been waiting for you, brother. Right? Inconsistent hours. If you're gonna be open at 10 o'clock, be open. Answer the phone. Open the door.
Yeah.
Another issue: customer service training. We have all went into an establishment with folks from our community where the person you encounter is not, let's just say, less than pleasant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Funny.
Pleasant. Let's put it that way. Right? And the third issue is an issue of people who are miseducated and ignorant, believing that we are not trustworthy. So those three make up pieces of the last 19%. But the overwhelming reason is awareness. Now, here's what was important and made me excited about building this organization 9 years ago, right? I thought going into the focus group, trust, that we don't trust each other, that would have been 81% of the response. It was not. It was awareness. That made me really excited. You know, it is a mythology that we don't trust one another.
True.
It's a mythology. The foundational institution in our community is the Black church. The foundational institution. That has been our foundation. From slavery to now, the Black church has been the one institution that we have controlled. The second institution are the hair salon for women and the barbershop for men. Those are the institutions that we have relied on to share information with each other, to talk to God through. Now, here's why that trust is a myth. Every Sunday across America, Baptist Church, Church of God in Christ, African Methodist Episcopalian, we put millions of dollars in the collection plate, and we have major churches in the thousands of members doing great community work through their community development corporations. If we didn't trust each other, we wouldn't put a cent in that plate. Wouldn't put a cent in that collection plate. We trust one another. If we didn't trust one another, we wouldn't have voted 92% for Barack Hussein Obama. I remember an ignorant fool in Atlanta when we were working for the president before the election. We had one of these trips. And he said, no black man walking, running, or horseback riding will ever wake up as president in the White House. After the election, a group of us went to this restaurant that he owned in Atlanta, and we said, bro, care to give us a different opinion? He said, nah, I was just playing. But the truth of the matter is he never thought that what had happened could happen. We came out like we never came out before. The day after the election, I was talking to somebody in Detroit about, the fact that Obama was going to be president. He said, man, I made sure that I voted 4 times. I said, bro, I said, what do you mean you voted 4 times? He said, I voted, then I went to the liquor store and the bar, and I carried 3 people there who were barely conscious and told them, you got to do this. We took such pride in helping this thing to happen. We do trust one another. This is nonsense. Now, some people on movies and foolishness on TV have told us that we don't trust each other, but they're just selling us a lie. This is just a lie. We do trust one another. In fact, when you're in big trouble, do you run to a Chinese person with your trouble? No.
No.
Do you run to a Mexican with your trouble? No. Do you run to a white person with your trouble? No. When you're in trouble, what you do, you go straight to your people. If you ain't trust them, why are you going to them?
That's true.
Every major athlete that has caught themselves in controversy or in trouble, every major entertainer, when they fall, what's the first thing they do? They show up in a black church.
Yeah.
True.
Please,
I've seen that recently. Here in Atlanta.
When they on the way up, Gerald, they don't know you. When they on the way down, they pastor, please. I just need
exactly.
I need your help. I need your help ASAP.
Oh no, we trust one another. We know where home is. is.
Yeah.
And so, this is a myth. So when we saw 81% of the responses in the focus group was awareness, we said, man, we need to build an organization in the 50 major cities where we are at least 40% of the population and make people aware that there are outstanding black entrepreneurs. There are outstanding black doctors. There are outstanding black lawyers. There are outstanding black CPAs. Yesterday, I featured the sister Fawn Weaver of Nearest Whiskey, a Tennessee-based company that makes bourbon and whiskey. Sister, in 20 short years, have built Nearest Whiskey into a $1 billion company. We need to push her up. I keep telling my friends who are not black, because I have friends of every race, black girl magic is a real thing.
Yeah.
Black girl magic is a real thing.
Yeah.
Just don't play in business, right? And this is to build a $1 billion company. Black girl magic is a real thing. And by the way, there's not a racist bone in this 59, near 60-year-old body. On May the 16th, I'll celebrate my 60th year on this earth. We respond to other people's behavior, and other people sometimes have not treated us well because of what we look like. Never even asked us how we think or what our spirit was about. Other people have not treated us well just based upon what we look like. They got a complexion issue. And so we have been pressed together. We had to be our own best friends. We had to be the Calvary for ourselves. We had to be the worship space for ourselves. We had to be the crying space for ourselves, right? And so I tell my friends who I went to law school with, or who I'm in business with, or who I communicate with, people who live in my neighborhood, that what I look like, I didn't even have nothing to do with. When God sent me through my mom, and she selected the man that helped to make me, I wasn't there. I had nothing to do with it. I had nothing to do with what I look like. What I do have something to do with is how I behave in this life and how I treat others, right? So if you're going to penalize me for something that I ain't even have no control over, you're the one with the problem.
True.
And what does the Bible say about this? The Bible says that man looks on the outward appearance. God looks on the heart. Well, what does God know? God looks at the heart. God doesn't ask what complexion you are. God asks what kind of character do you have? Right? What kind of choices do you make? Right?
Right.
How do you treat others? Right? So we, Gerald, have an information issue. So people like you and I, with the rise of the 1% and NBN, we have to massively educate our people. Here we are. Here we are. If awareness is the issue, let's take awareness off the table. We need to sound loud and clear on LinkedIn, any other platform. Here we are. And we're ready to serve.
There you go.
And there's 4.3 trillion reasons why you should want to work with us. Right? In fact, most people don't know the DEI initiative in this country was set off by the Fortune 100. The Fortune 500, rather, the biggest companies in the country. Here's what they know. American Demographics magazine about 3 years ago had a study about the browning of America. What was American Demographics talking about? In 2019, they realized that not only was America browning, but it was browning rapidly. Here is why. In the white community, the so-called white community, because I don't believe in races. The racists believe in races. I just believe in human beings with a complexion. How much pigment do you have? How much melanin is in you, right? Determines how dark or how light you are. Least melanated look lighter, more melanated look darker. But they found that our so-called white brothers and sisters had a negative birth rate. What does that mean? That means for every one white child born, 3 white folks were dying. You think that the reason why the conservatives loaded up the Supreme Court so that they could knock down Roe versus Wade had something to do with you. No, it didn't have anything to do with you. White women in this country are voting with their wombs. They would rather abort than conceive. Why is that? Somebody might not be treating them well. So some conservative thinkers said, if we outlaw abortion altogether and force the white sisters to have our children, we might not have a negative birth rate. That conversation don't even have nothing to do with you. You know what your birth rate is? For every one black person dying, you creating 3 new black people. Our Hispanic brothers and sisters, for every one dying, they creating 5. You'll see a Hispanic lady walking down the street. She got 2 in the stroller, 1 on her hip, 1 riding her back, and 1 she holding their hand. She a baby making machine. Right?
True. That's true.
And I'm not being critical. I'm just telling you what it is. Y'all seen it.
Yeah.
Right? So this whole idea about restricting reproduction, it doesn't have anything to do with us. It has something to do with the majority population is dying out, and we have nothing to do with that. They have a negative birth rate. It is projected by 2032, America will no longer be a majority white country. It will be a majority country of people in color. The Southwest of the United States, everything from Texas to Southern California, is now browner than brown. Go to Phoenix, go to LA, go to San Antonio, go to Dallas, go to Houston, go to Beaumont. Brown people everywhere. Now, east of the Mississippi River, in Louisiana, in Mississippi, in Georgia, in Alabama, in Florida, in the Carolinas. That's Blacktown. The South is the stronghold of the African American. The Southwest is the stronghold of the Hispanic American. That ain't changing. I don't care how many walls anybody puts up. That ain't changing.
Right.
The other thing you need to know on this immigration question is that the people who want walls don't even realize that the people who they're trying to lock out once owned that part of America. California is a Mexican word. Arizona is a Mexican word.
Yeah.
Y'all know what New Mexico is.
Right.
It's the New Mexico, right?
Exactly.
So old Mexico belonged to them. Colorado is a Mexican word. Oklahoma is a Mexican word. Idaho is a Mexican word. Think about the names of the states in the West. Why do they have Mexican names? Because at one point, Mexico owned all of that. And after the Mexican-American Wars, remember the Alamo, that's what they tell you, we took that land from these people. We took that land from these people. You know who I learned that from? A good so-called white historian from the University of Notre Dame, who happens to be a pastor. He said the truth about the Southwest of the United States is at one time it was all Mexico. And the Mexicans and the Native Americans lived in peace out there. We decided that we wanted that land and we took it from them. Now, we all know about the Southeast. We were brought here. You know, I laugh with black people. Black people are the only people in America that there was jobs waiting here for us. America had jobs for us. Cotton, molasses, indigo. America had jobs. He had work as soon as we got off, right? So the Southeast now is going to be Mississippi, the blackest of the southeastern states. Mississippi will elect a black governor in 6 years. Watch it. They're about 43% of Mississippi now. It can't be stopped. Why do you think Senator Warnock is the senator out of Georgia? Can't be stopped. There's a brother running for governor in Alabama right now. The hands that once picked cotton now will pick a governor. Can't be stopped. Yeah. It can't be stopped because of the fact that the demographic trend in the Hispanic and in the black communities is that you are producing more children than our white counterparts by far. They have a negative birth rate. Right now, if you are 25 or younger in the United States of America, you are in the new American majority. 54% of you to 48% of those so-called whites. If you are 25 years or less in America and you're a person of color, you're in the new majority. In 5 more years, when those 25-year-olds are 30, they're in the majority. In 10 more years, when they're 35, they're in the majority. Right at about 2032 to 2035, we will be at a tipping point where 54% of all of Americans will be non-white. This is the reason, in my view, for Trump and the MAGA movement. There are whites paying attention and they are terrified. You know what they're afraid of? What will we do to them when we're in total control? Their fear is we might do what they did to us. And so they say, let's make America great again. What they're saying is we're afraid that when we're no longer the majority, and it's just around the corner, that we might do to them what they did to us. But that's not how our heart is wrapped. We're not destroyers like that. You know how I know? There's a precedent for it. It's called South Africa. South Africa is 90% black. When Mandela came to power, it was thought all around the world that there would be a bloodbath in South Africa. Mandela put together the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and he said, what has been done has been done. And blood for blood is not what we're about. We're going to build a new South Africa where everybody is welcome. And white folks breathed a sigh of relief. They said, man, that was close. Because they thought,
Yay.
they thought there was going to be some, some stuff going on, or as Trump put it to that lady, they might experience some things, right? But that didn't happen. We don't operate like that. We're a godly people. And even when we're in the majority, this is not how we think. This is not how we treat people, right? But they are terrified that right around the corner, a segment of this country is terrified that in a situation where people of color are the numerical majority, that they may be treated the way that they treated others. I think their fears don't have a basis in fact or history. We don't operate like that, but they still have those fears, right? And so that's their problem. We don't have that problem. If birth rates continue the way they are right now, America will be a non-white country in about 12 years, a majoritively non-white country. Now, here's what that means on economic terms. That means that your purchasing power will rapidly go up from 4.3 trillion to well beyond that number. A time is coming where you're going to be right at about 50-50 in terms of how much money comes into your homes. You might have 10 trillion in America in a very short future. What does that mean? That means you have to get ready to lead outstanding businesses. Your turn is coming.
Exactly.
Your time is coming right now. You can't be foolishness with it. We have to get ready to lead. That's why sister with the $1 billion whiskey company, another sister that I profiled, we're in Women's History Month right now, Roz Brewer, has just been put on the board at United Airlines. She was the first Black woman to run a Fortune 500 at Walgreens. We have to get ready to lead. And I believe that Sister Kamala Harris will become President of the United States in the near term, not in the far term. We get ready to lead, right? And we have to lead in a way in which we are a blessing to everybody, regardless of what they look like. You have to be able to lead. When you become president of the United States, you don't become president of Detroit. You become president of everybody.
Detroit.
You got to do everybody right?
100%.
And so we have to get ready to lead. And so I think it's a very exciting time because we will be able to bear witness. All of us, the three of us here, will bear witness in 12 short years for the greatest transfer of economic power that any human beings have ever witnessed, because America is the most powerful military and economic force on the planet. And when we take economic leadership of it, it makes us the most powerful economic and military force on the planet. Right? And so we have this massive, massive financial and economic blessing coming our way. Or as my brothers over in Staten Island put it, the Wu-Tang Clan, cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money.
Right. Get the money. Yeah. $1 bill, y'all.
It's about to go down. We're about to get the cream, Gerald. We got to get ready. We getting the cream, man.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
There's nothing to be afraid of. It's something to embrace. And this is where we go back to our faith, right? Go right to Deuteronomy 8:18. Moses speaking to the people in Israel, telling them, "O my people, Israel, it is God that giveth the power to get wealth." Look at Deuteronomy 8:18. It is God that giveth the power to get wealth, right? So this goes right into our faith. It is God's promises that we are relying on. not man's promises. He said this day would come. He said this promise would be kept. And he is not a man that he should lie. He's not a man that he should lie. I firmly believe that, right? And we are bearing witness. It is happening right now. And I don't care who hoops and hollers and gets mad about it. They can't stop it. Because the force that is making the change in the world right now is a force that they can't control. God stands above all of man's plans and all of man's wickedness. And he is the ultimate decider of what's going down. So the question is not, how do I get God on my side? The question is, why don't you get on his side? You might be all right if you get on his side. he might take care of you, right? I'm on his side. What you want, God? You want me to go here? I'm going. You want me to say this? I'm saying it. You want me to do this? I'm doing it. And what does he say? Let the weak man say, I am strong. Let the poor man say, I am rich. Right? Right? That's what he said that we should do. He said that if we seek him and his righteousness, then everything will be given to us. So all we got to do is do the right thing, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And so for us who have platforms, and I thank you for the opportunity for sharing on your platform, for us who have platforms, we need to be making our folks aware that we are here. We need to serve them with honesty, integrity, and love. And we need to behave like a family. My grandmother taught me that home is where the love is. Home is where the love is, right? And so the way that I do this, where do we grow? We have grown MBN is on the 4th week of every month. I travel to 5 to 7 cities and I drive there because I want to meet the people. Because, Gerald, I believe high tech, right? This platform we're on, high tech is good, but high touch is superior. I want to meet the people. I want them to know I'm a real human being. I want to shake their hand. I want to hug on them. I want to eat their cherry pie and their sweet potato pie. So we just came back from Columbus, Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, St. Louis, Missouri, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, right? And along the way, our ranks increased by 27 members because what I do is we have small gatherings and I ask our chapter chairs to come and visit with me in the hotel where I'm staying. It's usually a Hampton Inn, and they have a hospitality room that sits about 20, and we order sandwiches and what have you. One rule: don't come to the meeting with MBN members. So my chapter chair in Columbus brought 5 brothers and sisters who had businesses. They joined us. In Cincinnati, Ohio, our chapter chair, she brought 3 people who joined us. In Dallas, I tried to go to Charliette's house, but she said, we having a party for my mama.
Right, we have a party for
We
mama.
having a party for my mama. I'll see you next time you come.
Right.
When you coming back? I'm having a party for my mama.
Right.
I was in Dallas. I said, wherever you are, you can come visit with me in Houston or in Dallas. Bring somebody that's not an MBN member so we can love on them and break bread with them. That's how we've done it. And that's how we're going to continue to do it. So we do what's called the MBN Business Opportunity Tour on the 4th week of every month. This coming month, I'll be in Richmond, Virginia at the end of this month. We'll be in Raleigh, North Carolina. We'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina.
There you go, Valencia.
There you go, Valencia.
Atlanta, Georgia, right?
There you go.
And then return them. So we're gonna visit 5 Southeast region cities, and our chapter chairs. They're gonna be inviting 4 or 5 people who are in business coming by. We'll chop it up like we're chopping it up here, and if they want to join us, they can. MBN has a one-time membership fee of about $4.99, but it's often sponsored by big business. So right now it's $2.99, no other fees other than that. And once you join, we put you in a chapter where you're the only one that can do what you do. And the first person you meet with is me. What happens in that 15-minute Zoom meeting is I ask you, who are the clients that you want? And for the first 90 days, the CEO of MBN will give you 4 new people to do business with every month. Every month, I will give them to you. I'll partner them with you. I'll tell them they have to use you, right? Because I want you to grow. Because when you get stronger, then you could bring somebody else in who's stronger, right? And so that's what we do. That's how we do it. And if anybody in your audience wants to connect, just go to Stan Matthews on LinkedIn. Send me a quick connection request or call me at 732-357-5701.
Charlotte, can we put that up on the screen or we just drop it in the comments?
I drop it in the comments.
All right, gotcha.
Gerald, I believe that we are at the most exciting time in the history of people of African descent in this country.
Mm-hmm.
My number one hero, Frederick Douglass, who was the most photographed man of the 19th century. He's the man who whispered, shouted, and prayed with Abraham Lincoln to make him strong enough to decide to emancipate us, set us free in 1862. And Harriet Tubman was his sidekick. And they worked on Lincoln, worked on Lincoln, worked on Lincoln. You read Frederick Douglass' autobiography. He wrote his autobiography 4 times. He had to get it right. Frederick Douglass was born a slave. And when he died, he was one of the wealthiest real estate landowners in the country. He still has 4 blocks in Baltimore named after him that he owned. In the National Park in Washington, D.C., Frederick Douglass had the first Black-owned, what do they call it? Spa, health spa. You would go there and get your fingernails done, get a back massage, eat good food. Frederick Douglass owned that. He was into real estate. He felt you had to be wealthy for you to make an impact in America. So Frederick Douglass longed for this time. He was born owned. He died an owner.
There you go.
Died an owner.
Yeah.
El Hajj Malik Shabazz, our shining Black prince, also known as Malcolm X, his teacher Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who said, "Up, you mighty race, you can achieve what you will." Martin Luther King, the dreamer that said he longed for a time where his 4 children would not be judged by the color of his skin, but by the content of their character. These people died for this moment, to know that a generation of Black and brown people would come that would have 4.3 trillion to spend on every kind of PhD imaginable. They died for this time. This is the most exciting time. We are the heirs of a legacy of fighting for justice, fighting for right, believing in God's word. We are the fruit of their prayers. We are the fruit of their tears. And we have an obligation to them to not do foolishness with what we have. It's our time now. We cannot do foolishness with it. I know we won't, because of people like you and Sister Cummings here. You are all talking about what? Not our people falling. Your organization stands for the proposition that we are rising.
There you go.
Exactly.
And our late, great poet laureate, the one and only Maya Angelou says, "And I rise, and I rise, and I rise," right? Mm-hmm. And that's what you all stand for, the proposition. And whatever I can do with our membership, whatever I can do with our organization to help you rise, it's done. All you have to do is reach out, and it's done. Just this afternoon, I was connecting a brother who's in the life sciences and data storage business. He wanted to meet with hospitals. And so I got him a meeting with Columbia Presbyterian in New York, with the St. Barnabas Medical System here in New Jersey, with the Robert Wood Johnson Medical System here in New Jersey, and a few others in Virginia. We have people in position all over this country, and they not having authority over small budgets. They having authority over hundreds of millions of dollars, right? In my Rolodex, in my network, right, of friends, there are individuals in there that can do enormous things. One of the people that we communicate with from time to time is the brother Robert Smith, the billionaire owner of Vista Partners. There are so many people. Tyler Perry now has 155 acres on a former military base where his studios are in Atlanta. And we have a connection to Tyler. We have a connection to Oprah Winfrey. We advertise on her television network, right? My daughter, Candace, actually interned at the magazine OWN when she was at Hampton University. So that connection is real. Her significant other, Stedman Graham, is from New Jersey, Whitesville, New Jersey. And Dr. Herb Harris of Life Institute, an MBN member, his wife is Stedman's auntie. So we go to a cookout once a year in Wilmington, North Carolina, and Stedman and the Big O show up. But she doesn't show up to talk business. She show up to eat some sweet potato pie and some good food. And you can't just run up on her because that's, she in a private setting. But she's there. And she's got a big heart and wants to help everybody. We're connected. And so my philosophy of business is you're either on the inside or you're on the outside. I prefer being on the inside, Sister Cummings.
Okay.
I prefer being on the inside.
Absolutely.
And because we're a family.
Right.
We're a family. And as long as we operate in family with the rules of love, honor, and respect, we're going to be all right. And so this is the most exciting time. If Frederick Douglass could spend 5 minutes here in the 21st century, he would say, oh my goodness. If Martin Luther King could open up his eyes and see that the pastor that sat in his pulpit at Ebenezer is now the senator from the great state of Georgia, he would say, my dream has come true. That's King's pulpit that Reverend Warnock preaches from every Sunday. And then on Monday, he heads back down to Washington to be one of 100 senators. King would say, my dream has come true. This has happened. And even greater things than these will happen. Right? There is a part in the Bible which I love where the man that had died, Jesus goes in and brings him out, and he tells them he wasn't dead, he was just sleeping. Brings him out, and they asked him, how did you do this? He never answered the question. He said, greater things than these you will do, but first you must believe. Greater things than these you will do, but first you must believe. There's going to be a generation that comes along after us that's going to be traveling in space to different planets. They're going to do greater things than we did, right? They're going to build on what we build on. So what we built on from our forefathers and foremothers from the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th century, we're just building on their sacrifices. But there will be a generation that builds on ours in the 22nd century. Man, oh man, oh man. Black folks on Mars.
Absolutely. I agree.
Hip hop music on Mars.
Right.
That's where it's going. I can tell you that.
We're doing this, and we're having a good time doing it. One of the things I love most about traveling the country on the fourth week is we are some of the most wonderful, giving people. Charliette, let me tell you, wherever I end up, people want to feed me. Oh, don't leave town, baby. You got to take some of this. Baby, you can't. It'll be an insult. You better take some of this banana bread with you back to New Jersey.
Right.
I've got jars of honey. I got corn.
And Valencia says she booked some time to speak with you.
Yeah, Valencia is one of our good people, by the way. Mr. Matthews. Yeah. She's all about our community as well. I'm actually speaking at Entrepreneur Networking Missa. She's doing in Charlotte next month. And she's doing some great things up in the North Carolina area. But yeah, she says she just booked the call with you. So yeah, great stuff.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm gonna tell you this Matthews, on my end, appreciate you definitely coming on this evening. for what you're doing for our community, helping them be able to get their products and services out on these major networks. Like you say, we lack awareness. I definitely agree on that. To even what you're doing with the executive coaching, like I've also seen that you're doing in terms of sales and stuff. And not only that, man, your knowledge and wisdom here that you lay. I'm over here taking notes.
Right. I'm like, what?
I feel like it's a big history lesson
Yeah.
on this live stream this evening too, And I've studied a lot on our history over the years and stuff like that, but I can always learn more. And you shared a lot on here as well to open my eyes to a lot of things too.
Let me share this.
I agree, Valencia.
None of us, or very few of us, come up with any original thoughts.
Right.
We are all either interpreting or reinterpreting things that we have been taught. The Bible says, "How shall they know lest they have a teacher?" Mm-hmm. Well, I have had many teachers. My mentor is Dr. George C. Frazier. He is the godfather of Black networking, Power Network Conference, right?
Yep.
Dr. Herb Harris, The 12 Laws of Success, international bestseller, one of a very few books that's sold in China by a Black man. Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, Think and Grow Rich from a Black Perspective, right there in Atlanta.
That's my guy, yeah.
Mr. Eugene Poole, one of the 5 top-ranked health officials, is our chairman of the board. Mm-hmm. When I was in college, I encountered Dr. John Henrik Clark, our preeminent historian. Dr. Leonard Jeffries, former chair of African Studies at City College of New York. Dr. Molefi Asante, current chair of African Studies at Temple University, the father of the word Afrocentricity, right? Professor James Small, who was the minister who was in leadership of the Organization of Afro-American Unity, the organization that Malcolm X started shortly before he was assassinated. Professor James Small, then known as James X, was the minister who succeeded him and took the organization forward, is one of my mentors. These individuals, along with my grandmother, Beatrice Andrews, my father's mother, Lillian Matthews, my grandfather, Benjamin Andrews, my father's father, Cecil Matthews, these individuals are the individuals who have made me who I am. Everything that I say, everything that I think has been shaped by individuals that I just mentioned. My hero, Frederick Douglass, my hero, Malcolm X, my hero, Martin Luther King, my hero, Saint Nelson Mandela. Because you got to be a saint to not kill all them people that killed up your people. You got to be a saint. You got man had a saint. Because if it were me, Gerald, I would have got just a little bit of revenge.
Yeah.
I would have had to get a little bit of
just a little thing.
I think me too.
A little bit of get back.
Yeah, I think me too.
I would have had to get a little bit of get back. So I call him Saint Nelson Mandela, right? But these people who have made all of us who we are, our forever president, Barack Obama, right? Coolest dude that ever occupied the White House.
Yeah.
Coolest dude that ever occupied the White House, right? Smooth as ice. Visionary, highly gifted brother. Could you imagine all of the fire? Could you imagine all of the pressure that he and Michelle were under for 8 years? Never missed a beat. Never got any controversy. Never had no side chick. Because if he did, they would have threw it right
up. It would have been everywhere.
Never had no kind of issue, no drama, Obama, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So these people made us who we are, and so I take that seriously. My obligation is to make sure that I live by my own credo. Leadership is not what you say. Leadership is what you do. The reason why I drive 1,900 miles on the 4th week of every month is because I have a promise to keep to our chapter chairs, that they would meet me in person. We don't have a Zoom relationship. We have a heart relationship. So I go to them.
Right.
I go to them with joy, and we operate in love and respect with joy. So we're going to keep doing that because we have to keep our promises. We have to keep our promises, and we will. And the people who taught me in a way where I keep those promises. I know that I'm standing on the shoulders of people who gave up a lot so I could stand. So I don't want to let them down. And we're not going to do it. And we're going to have a good time too, right? We're going to eat some peach glazed salmon.
There you go.
We're gonna drink some spiced lemonade with just a little bit of rum in it.
Right.
Because you know how we do. We don't we don't just drink lemonade. We gotta add a little. We say it's just a little kick in it. A little kick
swig. Just a little swig. Just a little swig.
So we have a good time, right? So the Bible says the joy of the Lord is your strength. So we got to be joyful. We're not gonna be mad. We're gonna be joyful, right? So I'm at your disposal, my brother, my sister. Whatever you guys want to do, however we can create together, however we can produce together, I'm with it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. We got much more to do. Mr.
This is great.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate being here. Thank you for letting me share your stage. Thank you for letting me be on the platform. And whenever you want me to come back, just have Sister Cummings give a shout, and I'll be here.
You know I will. I learned some stuff, on this tonight. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't even know that part. Y'all make sure y'all take notes. Those y'all, and y'all still on here. I'm looking what y'all. When I look down, I'm actually looking to see, if you guys are still on here. You guys have been over here this whole time, so I can tell that y'all getting value.
One thing I could say is, a lot of my biggest takeaways was, for one, Mr. Matthews talking about our lack of awareness. That's why, of course, he's helping a lot of our people that own businesses and things of that nature get on these major networks, major platforms, get more exposure to products and services, not being consistent, to our customer service, to not being educated, right? Those different factors we definitely got to tighten up on in our community. And also, as well, just the big history lesson. Like I said, once again, we got period on this live was just phenomenal to me. Like I said, I'm taking notes.
Dr. John Henrik Clarke says history is your watch.
Yeah.
It tells you what time in the existence of your people you're in. And it also tells you what you should be doing. At 9 a.m. in the morning, you should be doing something. You know at noon, you should be doing something. At 4 o'clock, you should be doing something. At 10 p.m., you should be getting some rest, right?
Yep.
So it's our time clock. So when we know our history, we know what we should be doing. Can we share something on LinkedIn for a moment for some people that might still be with us?
Can you go ahead right away.
So can you go to my can you go to the following website? Let me tell you right now what it is. I want to show people how simple and how easy this is.
Valencia says she wants to increase the buying power. That's what's her takeaway.
Oh, she's gonna get all of that and more. So if you guys could put up on the screen, growmbn.org. Growmbn.org.
Okay. Let me pull it up.
You pulling it up, Charlotte?
I pulled it up. Let me add it to share screen. Let's see. I have it up. Let me do share screen. Mm-mm. Let me try to share. Sorry.
There you go. So if you go to growmbn.org, guys, you'll see exactly how you can advertise like the Fortune 500 advertise. You got to click on the speaker button on the commercial for them to hear it, Charliette.
Cut your volume up, Charlotte, on your computer. I don't know if you can share computer sound.
You may not be able to do that, but right there, there's a 2-minute commercial on how to affordably advertise on the leading television, on the 20 network TV platforms, including own CNN, ESPN, MTV, and BT. So if you go to growmbn.org, all the information is there. And we would be glad to help you to promote your business and advertise your business the same way that Microsoft does, the same way that Apple does, the same way that Ford Motor Car does, the same way Amazon does. It's all there for you. We made it very affordable, giving you installment plans to be able to do it. And we look forward to helping you grow and grow and grow and grow. Okay. So that's one of the things that I wanted to share, and it's all there for you. Check it out. And there's a way for us to collaborate and share the revenue on that, Gerald, so that we do, as I said earlier, we have a triple win. You know, we win, you win, and God is pleased. So that's what we look for. That's the way we can do it. So I look forward to anybody that's watching this LinkedIn Live. Sister Valencia, I look forward to meeting with you. And, we will get this done together. I look forward to the journey, and I look forward to the good company. All right. So with that said, I'm go have some dinner here in New Jersey. I wish you guys have an amazing night. That God will whatever you think, say, or do.
All definitely. Right. And before you head out, Mr. Matthews, yes, if you all got some great values, educated this evening, you learned some things, definitely make sure you hit that like or love button, whether you're watching this on LinkedIn, the Facebook group, show some love. Drop a comment of your biggest takeaways as well. Or if you have any questions as well, you can drop them below. Also, Charliette put in the comment section information on how you can speak with Mr. Matthews as well in terms of working with MBN. And also as well, feel free to share this around with anyone else you all feel could benefit too. Share this around. Let's get this message out to as many people as possible. Besides that, once again, Mr. Matthews, we thank you for hopping on. This is just the first time.
I have a thought. So I'll be on the road, Charliette, Gerald, from the 26th of March to the 31st of March. When I'm on the road, I would love to come by and introduce your audience to some of the entrepreneurs that we meet all over the country. As I said, I'll be in Richmond. Norfolk, we'll be in Raleigh, we'll be in Charlotte, and be in Atlanta this month, at the end of this month. And when we're on the road, you need to know who some of the brothers and sisters are that are doing it.
Yeah. When you come to Atlanta, let's set that up, Mr. Matthews. I'd like to meet you all in person. But also, Mr. Matthews, I'm going to say this right here on this live. I'd like to invite you and some of your people onto our live in studio podcast. We could do a panel discussion. I'm inviting you on here while you're here, if we can make time for it.
Invitation accepted. Ronald Smith II, brother by the name of Chuck Barlow. That's an amazing organization down there. We got some solid people there in Atlanta. We'll come by and chop it up together, and we'd be all blessed.
Let's put it together.
Amazing.
Awesome.
All right. So have a blessed night, y'all.
You all too.
Appreciate it. Everybody.
Thank you
for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in tonight, guys.
All right.
See you next week.
All right. Be blessed, y'all.
All right, you too.